We are here. Dave Grand from One Entertainment, Inc., the man, the myth, the legend. Welcome.
Thanks, buddy. Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming and doing this. We're doing this because, this will be posted on Friday. In a couple weeks, we got Jelly Roll coming to Canada, and you were a huge pivotal part in putting this together.
Yes, so I'm excited that it's happening, and it was a bit of weeks away, so it's great to have it set up and be exciting for the concert.
Bro, so it will be Monday, July 8th, Meridian Center, St. Catharines, Ontario.
Yeah.
Jelly Roll's first appearance in Canada.
Yes, yeah.
And this is not a small name coming.
No, it's not. And what I've teamed up, it was months ago that I was looking at putting this together. And for a lot of the events that I like to do, I like to be able to give back to the community. So there's an organization called the Heather Winterstein Foundation in partnership with the Native Friendship Center in Fort Erie.
Nice.
I was looking for some support in other ways. And I thought, hey, you know what? Music is something that brings everyone together, right? So it's not only the night of the concert, it gets the conversation starting and realizing that there are things that people need and music is a good way, a good activity that people can, attend and get through aside from songs that may resonate with people.
Yeah.
It's a good opportunity for people to come together and see what other organizations are about. Especially when it's community giving, right?
Yeah, I think that's great that you're doing that. And also, even though I'm not part of the Indigenous community, I've always really had a tie with them going to Lakeshore Catholic. I had a bunch of Native buddies, and I think that it's great that you have relations with them and putting that together.
For sure. And I mean, same with me. I'm not Indigenous either. And it's just, there's a lot of great people out there, and there's some areas that they're lacking and support. And I try to understand what the need is now, right? There's always different foundations and organizations and things like that. So, excuse me, given the rise in the addictions and mental health, I thought this would be an opportunity to ensure that people have the same opportunity, whether you're from the reservation or you're from here or from a different country. People need our children today are going to be the leaders tomorrow. We want to make sure that everyone has that chance, right?
And they need as much help as ever now. Yeah, so that's awesome.
For sure. So it's something that, music brings everyone together, and it's a good opportunity. I mean, a name like this, I would have to say is the biggest in my career for sure. So,
yeah, bro. It's congratulations on that because, I know you've been working on this for a bit. Yeah. And it's nice to see it come to fruition. For
sure. And no one, it was probably about almost a year for me, but then getting in touch with the right people and finally getting hold of management, and everyone's been great. The booking agent's been awesome, and
nice.
Jelly's excited to come to Canada.
Is he? That's cool.
For sure.
That's cool.
We're looking at doing some surprises for him. And
yeah.
So
Jelly, don't watch this. Don't find out the surprises.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's too busy.
There'll be more to come definitely after the concert. And
nice.
It's great. I hope he brings his family, and there's they're bringing the whole tour, so it's nice. There's about 50 to 60 tour production people coming.
Wow.
So
he's got an entourage.
Yes.
I'm not surprised, but yeah.
So I need a bigger limo than 10 people for sure.
And who else will be performing? Who's opening? And
okay, so we have Ali Colleen. She's actually came down to Niagara to help out with an event about a year ago, I think.
That was the one Niagara on the Lake, right? Yeah.
Niagara on the Lake. And then there's another one, Callie Twisselman, who's an up-and-comer as well, that's coming down. They wanted to be a part of, helping to give back. And,
nice.
Canada is a new market for a lot of these people. So I'm great, they all have great managers and things like that. So it's nice to have everyone involved. So.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. That's a good lineup right there. I like
sure,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be busy St. Catharines for sure. So
if only the Meridian Center was bigger, they could have took more people there.
For sure.
Yeah. How long did it take to sell the tickets to the event?
Yeah, it was very quick. So I would say under 40 minutes for the majority of tickets. I mean, there was a few holds that we had
Yeah.
for production and whatnot, but I think if we would have rolled it out that anyone could get it at any time, I bet you it'd be 2 minutes.
Bro, it was so crazy.
Yeah.
Even though, thank you for putting aside some tickets for me, I still went on there to get some tickets, and I was in queue 6,700.
Yeah.
And was I able to get some that day? Yeah, I was still able to sneak in there, and I was only able to get 2. But yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's good. I hope everyone got to get some. I mean, there's some areas where people like to scalp, which is unfortunate, and that, but you can't stop that with anything, right? So,
Yeah, I know. There's a little bit of controversy around that, right?
sure.
I was even saying it. I'm like, if I get more tickets, maybe I'll resell them. But
don't.
No. But like, it's an interesting thing when there's such a high demand. I can see it. It is. I see how it's a shitty situation for some people. I'm an entrepreneur, so I respect people on the hustle. But then, I know some people say it makes it unaffordable, especially where I think it gets a little bit tough is like, I don't think it happened with this, who knows, but the bots, when the bots are buying up all the tickets.
And I mean, just think of the venues that have 20, 40, 50, 80,000 people, right?
Right.
That's, that I'm sure it's much worse and whatnot, right? So, I mean, it sold out quick, and it's going to be a big name. It's, I would say, the male Taylor Swift for us here in St. Catharines.
Totally.
And,
Totally.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun concert. So,
I don't know what you can talk about or not. I'd rather ask and you say no or not, but I know that you had to work on it a bit to get them over, that there's challenges.
Well, part of, I obviously can't get into too much detail, but I think the ability for Jelly Roll wanting to give back to the community here in Canada, it's okay. Wake up.
I know. Who sets their alarm for 7 p.m.? That was supposed to be AM.
I mean, his lawyer and their team, they've been working on it a very long time. And, we were thankful that we could be a part of that journey, and that he decided that, St. Catharines and the Niagara region would be his first spot. So,
It's awesome.
It pays off a lot of hard work. And I mean, he's done, I think when you look at rehabilitation and things like that, I mean, he's donated at all of his concerts. He's helping to try to, help the underdog, right? And,
Nice.
And I think the reason, he's a great songwriter and singer, but a lot of people resonate for what he went through, right?
Yeah.
That, and some people they've made mistakes, right? And
Totally. We all have made
for
mistakes.
sure.
Yeah.
And I think, that you can change given, he definitely took, with his music career, he hustled and made sure that opportunity would lead to somewhere. And he's got a good support system, and the management and booking agents and his wife and all them seem like great people. So I'm excited I personally don't know them, so I'm excited to meet with them when they're down here.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, eh?
For sure, yeah. So
because like I posted just a little bit like on stories and stuff how I'm really looking forward to the event and everything, and I had a couple people make those comments too, saying like, how's he getting into Canada with such a rap sheet and stuff? And like, you touch on some good things, because like I think that it's not, I don't know any of the intrinsical things of how it happened, but like you said, I believe in rehabilitation too, and I don't even know what he did. I just know he got in trouble at some point.
Yeah, I mean, people, I think I'll let him touch on that. I mean, he's pretty vocal on the stuff that he's done and that, and I think, within the government too, I mean, it is an economic impact that's going to help. And
Totally.
I mean, his story is amazing, right? He's 39 years old, and
is he?
Yeah, he had a pretty crazy past, and he's doing, when you look at big companies and things like that, like, he's just doing the right things, and
it's awesome.
he wants to give back, right? Like, I think he's realizing too that the mistakes where they put him before is nothing to where he is today, right? So, he wants to help the people that, before they make those mistakes, right?
Yes.
And for the people that maybe have made those mistakes, from what I'm seeing, is he wants to let them know it's okay. Right?
Yeah. See, it's interesting because like I'm not the greatest at following, I don't know if it's mainstream or whatever, like artists and songs and all these things. Like we've talked about it before when you're like, what do you think about this band or that? And I'm like, I have no idea who that is.
For sure.
So I don't even know all of his songs or anything, but the songs that I've listened to, I think that some of the stuff that I like is it seems like he's puts himself out there pretty good with what I've heard him sing about with his life and stuff. And I give him credit doing that because he's like on the top level of fame. And like myself, like I'm on as close to the bottom as possible, but I know it's what it's like to put yourself out there. Mm-hmm. And like he's talking about some of the most vulnerable things in his life. And I give him a lot of credit for that. For sure. Not knowing a lot about him, just the fact doing that. So like to me, that the little I know, I have a lot of respect for him that he's able to do that and make a living from it and inspire people too. To me, like that's a lot of goodness going on there.
And for sure, I mean, there's people that make more mistakes than that. There's people that make less mistakes than that. And it's just, there's a divide, I think, too, with realizing those situations. I mean, I think social media has helped, is a pro and a con, but I think people are seeing his stuff through the socials and he's doing interviews and, where a lot of people, I've done some work with giving back with mental health and stuff. And even when I first started, like, it's not easy to talk about, right? So, through music, this is a way for people to feel comfortable, right?
Yeah, and such a good point.
Yeah, so it's, those kids that or the young adults or families who's ever having those, they can see people like Jelly Roll wanting to give back and see that, it's not worth it or anything like that. So,
it's pretty cool too. It's like at points of time with us, we'll be able to look back at this event and everything. And I'm looking forward to, because I think, and I'm sure everybody, but he has a lot of legs to his career, and it'll be pretty sweet as we talk and like to see how he grows, because like 39, he could be doing this another 39 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the sky's the limit over that time, because I don't know exactly how long he's been around or whatever, but I feel like done really well in a smaller period of time, even though I know he didn't just start, but like building up like that. I don't even know.
And I mean, he switched genres and things like that. I mean, he started more out in the rap, rap scene kind of, during his sentencing and that kind of life and that time. Right. And I know from what I've heard is he was really into country music and learned some from his mom, and always had that kind of background going up. And I mean, I don't know all of his stuff either. I mean, I've paid a lot more attention now, but there's a couple friends of mine that were like, oh, you should get Jelly Roll. And this is kind of just before he blew up, but he wasn't like, on ACMs and Grammys and all these different award shows or whatever. But I mean, he's super talented. His writing kind of hits the heart to a lot of people. I mean, when you look out there, there's a lot of people that can sing, but the songwriting too is key point, right?
Totally. So, I know, like, now that this is all going down, like, I want to listen to some more of his songs and stuff. And like, because I know, like I said, I give him a lot of credit for like,
and there's a reason those songs have hundreds of millions of views, right?
Resonates with people.
That's a great thing that he's doing. So if we can be a part of his journey and wanting to come to Canada, and he was, he's eligible to come in, and we're happy to, work with his team to want to, come here to St. Catharines and benefit the Niagara region.
And wasted no time doing a second event the next day in our nation's capital.
So which is awesome. So they run that major blues fest in Ottawa, and
that's an annual event.
And I think it's an outdoor show, but for the main stage has roughly around 40,000 people.
Oh,
so
wow!
He's definitely going to sell out there too, and around the Ottawa area, and.
That's so sick.
It's great that he's here. So let's show him. I mean, he's going to two great places, right? In terms of coming to Canada,
Niagara, and then off to the capital.
And so I think, he's got quite a busy tour in the U.S. and I think you're going to see more of him.
Try to get him back future. Up. Yeah,
so it would be nice to.
There's no way he can't not do it. But Toronto.
For sure.
And like the West Coast, I'm sure like would be sick, and it's just beautiful out there. So like,
well, I mean, if he keeps doing what he's doing, he's gonna have no problem with that stuff. And you know, he's selling out huge venues in the U.S. In minutes, right? So that says something, right? And whether it's both his music and his storytelling and all that, but he deserves it. He's been through a lot, right? So
I'm a little bit curious about some of the logistics of stuff. And like I don't know if anything I can't, but like how Meridian Center, what was the draw to go there?
Well,
I think it's super cool.
Yeah, I know. No, that's great. So Meridian Center is, I would say, the biggest venue in the Niagara region. So that was a main point for that, because we want to be able to have obviously as many people as we can without worrying about it to rain. So and obviously more money go back to the charity, and we have some involvement in St. Catharines, and I think that it would be, you know, I look at the economic development as well, that it's going to make St. Catharines super busy on a Monday night.
On a Monday.
You know, it's not Toronto. We don't have the Leafs. We don't have, you know, the Blue Jays. We don't have that stuff, right? So and weekends are usually pretty busy around the region. So
it is definitely going to have, it's interesting, sorry to interrupt, an economic spark, because I just look at it from my perspective. I've got a whole bunch of friends that are going, and I'm like, even though it's a Monday, I'm like, okay, well, how often does Jelly Roll come to Canada? So let's have a party. So I'm going to have a party. So that means there's going to be some beverages and food. And then, like you just heard me, my friend called me. He's like, are we going to get a ride, a limo, or a taxi to get everybody there? So we're going to be spending money on that. And then at the concessions. And then if we're having enough fun, probably ever. So like I'm not a promoter, so I don't think about the actual economic impacts, but people start spending money when they're having fun.
I mean, there was people that I knew that drove to CMA Fest. So when you look at that, which is CMA Fest is in Nashville, it's not just the concert ticket, it's the hotel room, it's the transportation. So in terms of a tourism play, you know, I'm not sure. I'm going to look at the analytics after, but I mean, if it benefits people that bought tickets from out of town that are now staying in St. Catharines and Rag on the Lake, or
we talked about, I'm probably going to stay out that night too. So the wallet gets dusted off when there's fun times.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it's going to be a fun night, and I'm hoping to do more, right? And I think I'm going to look at doing more around the region.
Yeah, nice.
And maybe
it's going to be hard to top this, but it's not all. You don't always have to top things, but like
for sure. Yeah, no, I think, you know, with us, we're limited in seasons, right? So we have the summer, but, you know, then you also have to look at rain, right? So you have to make sure the right protocols and logistics and tenting and all that kind of stuff plays a role as well. I mean, hardcore fans, if it's the right artist and stuff, I mean, as long as they're not getting struck by lightning, they're pretty much going to be there, right? So maybe we'll bring someone out this way. And
Wainfleet, let's go.
Yeah, maybe we will.
Let's go.
Big country concert. Or rock
That'd be so sick. Bro, you know I'm down for a good time.
I like these coasters.
Not bad, eh?
Yeah.
The floppy disks.
Yeah.
I know, I seen those. I had to get those.
Yeah. Awesome.
I know that you still have planning and preparing and execution over the next couple of weeks, but is there another event in the works yet, or is that too?
There's some ideas.
Okay.
But yeah. So
still early.
Yeah. I mean, that's something I'd like to get. I reach out to people like yourselves to, you know, say like, who's someone you would come see. Right?
Yeah.
So
well, when you put on an event, since we've met, it doesn't matter. I'm just down for it. But
for sure. Yeah. And it's just, you know, and I think too, within my career, I mean, this is obviously one of the bigger ones. You know, they could be super stressful or they can be super fun. I mean, this was a bit stressful leading up to, because it was like, hey, we got 3 weeks and we don't even know if he's allowed to come over yet. So,
yeah, can I touch a little bit on that just a little bit?
Yeah.
Because you've been working on this.
a little bit more grace, but yeah.
You've been working on this for how long?
When I was introduced to who he was and kind of looked into it I would say almost a year.
Almost a year. And then the day that it got officially announced was like
June 18th.
June 18th, and the concert was July 8th. So that does not give a lot of lead time
Right.
before an event.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a good thing that
Yeah.
like Jelly Rolls like bomb, and like, because like if a lot of marketing had to go into it to try and sell it out, that would have been tricky.
For sure. I mean, that's the benefit. I would never do that with any other artist, to be honest. Like, and I mean, obviously, if they're at that level of Jelly Roll, 100%.
Yeah.
But
The risk was lower, but it's still kind of wild because
well, and another thing, like he might be playing other places around that are 2 hours away in the States,
Right.
and are those people? Did people buy tickets for that?
Totally.
One or the other, right? So
Totally.
I think because it's a special case,
Yeah.
with him coming to Canada and his first time coming into Canada, and he's doing other shows or a show in Canada.
Yeah.
That was a selling point. And I think people here in Niagara locally, it's easier than driving to Toronto. and, And when you look at the logistics around the cities and parking and stuff like that, you're not going to be stuck in a parking lot for 45 minutes getting out, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think you'll see Niagara grow in that capacity where things are eventually going to get better. And, happy to bring more talent for sure. So it's just, I would never do 2 weeks before a concert for anything, right? Unless you're just highlighting them at a bar or something.
Yeah,
but when you're putting
totally.
together a huge show with, logistics, and I mean, he's got quite the screen set up. Yeah, it's going to be.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't even
he
think about
tells
that
a
part.
story through his, and it's good for people to visualize and things like that.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, I mean, I've met great people through his groups of agents and managers and things like that. So
I definitely have a dirty little question I want to ask you and see.
Okay.
His rider.
Oh yeah, it's actually not that crazy.
No?
It's it is. Everyone has their food and their beverages for sure.
I've never even been part of that. I just even
the red M&Ms and
I've
rolls
heard
and
things like that. But
I mean, his is actually very easy and there's normally they don't bring there's usually production for the most part at a local level here, but they're bringing all the trucks, and so
is there pizza on the rider? Do you guys know
there
where
is
to get?
pizza on the
Do you know
rider.
where you're going to get it from
Yes,
yet?
I'm going to do Volcanoes and
Solid
St.
pick.
Catharines. Yeah,
Solid
so
pick.
They wanted to be a part of it, and I mean, I'm just down the street from them.
Their pizza's great.
Yeah, it's something that you want to trust, and
Yeah.
so
I love it.
yeah, and just the typical things.
What did they say? What they want on their pizza?
No, but I'll find. There might have been, but I'm going to follow up. So that's just something now that we're finalizing all the goodies, right?
Yeah,
so,
those are little deets.
Once this major stuff of him coming and who the production and the venue and insurance and all that stuff kind of takes care of, then it's the fun stuff, the food, right? So who can't like pizza, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, okay, so nothing too crazy.
Is it approved by the right choice?
Volcanoes?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, bro. Volcanoes is... it landed in the top 3 for me. That's why I like that you picked that. I would have maybe Odd Bar too.
Right. Yeah.
And then the other one that I really liked is not open anymore, Boss Pizza. But being in the top 2 in all of St. Catharines.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, and we're, it's a pretty large crew coming, so obviously Jelly's going to have in his inner circle. But we're also providing the food for everyone there. So I wanted to pick food and beverages that they're going to enjoy, right?
Yeah.
Fingers
Get some
crossed.
cup and char on there.
Well.
Volcano Pizza. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Where is he even from?
Who?
Jelly Roll.
He's from Nashville, Tennessee area.
They got good barbecue, I'm guessing, down there. I don't know if they got good pizza down there.
He's on a bit of a health kick, actually.
Yeah?
He's I think it was 45 pounds. He
nice.
He just did a 5K marathon.
5K run ski? Nice.
So I've just been, in between being busy with all this setting up, you see these little things through social media and whatnot. So, good for him. He wants, so.
Yeah, it's a battle. I know what it's like to go through that battle.
Yeah, for sure. I think we all have. You're doing better than I am, but
It's
after
tough.
this event, I'll maybe get back to that.
Yeah,
so.
anytime you want. Yeah. I just went yesterday, reconnected with my buddy Malcolm that made this table. We reconnect. This table's sick, yeah?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we reconnected and we wanted to hang out. So we hit the gym yesterday and then he had so much fun. He's, what are you doing today? I'm like, going for a run. He's like, I'm coming. The guy hasn't ran in 2 years and he just ran a 10K with me. I don't know how he's going to feel later, but
yeah, he's probably sore.
oh yeah. He's just a 27-year-old young buck, but
For sure. But yeah, no. So I'm excited for the show, and I'm hoping we can do more of these down the road. And usually festivals or big shows like this, like you're talking a year out.
Yeah.
The bigger names technically sometimes don't take as long just because they're a quick sell.
Yeah.
But if you're developing something that's from scratch, it's definitely going to take a while. And usually, like in festivals or events, you usually don't make money on the first few of them, or if not,
learning
more,
curve.
Right? So it's learning curve, and I look at it as paid education, and
Totally.
I actually learn more from that than in school. I mean, I haven't been there in a
A
long time,
%. Schools just gives you a little bit of a foundation. You got to get in the streets to really learn.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think too, I've always wanted to do this. I was fortunate enough to do some traveling to Las Vegas and do some cool trade shows and things like that, and get to know a lot of people out there. And I just, I kind of took it all in, and I was very good at networking. And I've learned, whether they think they did or not, or they know, like a lot of my friends down there have taught me things that they just do every day anyway. And I'm paying attention. And
because you're the industry you're in, promoting.
Yeah,
it's definitely, it's a lot different than like what I do, and you definitely got to do a lot of networking
for sure.
Connections.
And it's a small world. Like, it's a big world out there, but it's a very, very small world with this kind of stuff. So
if you screw something up, it could really hurt.
For sure, yeah. And all the agents talk and all that kind of stuff. Like, it is, and a lot of these big agencies rep a lot of people. Right. So
yeah, I can only imagine.
So then, they go through the contracts and whatnot and that. So, but I mean, Niagara it's definitely not close to Las Vegas, but there definitely is something there. I mean,
oh yeah, we got Niagara Falls.
You got the escarpment. You got the falls, the casinos.
Niagara is a sick area. Like, I love it here. I'm like Niagara through and through. I've been in Wainfleet my whole life. I love it here. I'm completely biased, but like the things you're wrapping off, we're between two Great Lakes. We're a skip away from America.
Yeah, America.
Toronto's like right there.
Yeah.
Wineries. Yeah. We have rural and city.
Yeah.
Like, the people are pretty good down here. I'm not going to say everybody, but it's like the community of Niagara is pretty good. Yeah. It is a sweet spot.
So I just think more of this stuff can happen, because I think you want to keep, if we can create more of a scene, people go to Nashville because of, the bar scene there, the great artists that are performing there all the time. And if we can recreate that somewhere here in the region,
Totally.
People want to remember. It doesn't have to be the Jelly Rolls, right? Like, people are like, I saw this kick-ass, singer or group
Totally.
at the Spice Lounge, and I want to go back. When we go back to Niagara, I want to go there, or I want to stay at that hotel, or
totally. And there's lots of good
So,
spots. Yeah, the opportunities here are great. That's why, I love. Like, I asked Meridian Center, but I love that it's there. It's just like, it could have been somewhere else, but I love that it's right here in the backyard. Like,
For sure, and right by the highways there.
Oh, it's so sick.
It's going to be busy on those couple streets by the Meridian Center, but it's a lot easier than having to spend an hour and a half each way to go to Toronto or cross the border and have to worry about customs and that kind of stuff, right? So
yeah.
So, but get some sleep after this too.
Yeah, you must have a lot of sleepless
Well, it was either
nights.
like not sleeping because you're working longer, or you're not sleeping because you're anxious, right?
Yeah.
I'm anxious to sleep, waking up every
I
2
know,
hours.
bro.
every
We're
night.
talking. I'm like, I couldn't imagine. Like, the line of business I'm in is stressful, but it's a different level of stress. Even though I'm not going to take away, like, we help people through biggest transaction in their lives, and we're dealing with it, and we're juggling with big money and emotions and everything. But it's a little bit different, even because, like, we do it so often. Like, you kind of get, I don't want to say desensitized, but, and like, you get used to it. With this, like, there's a lot of pressure on, like, timely
For sure.
of things.
And you have to make sure your I's and your T's are crossed, and even at a basic level of making sure the venue's structured properly.
Right.
Like, you have even security, you have to make sure all
How does
that's
Can I ask about some of the stuff like that, how that all works? Like, does the Meridian Center do that, or do you have to deal that, or like?
So for us, Meridian Center is doing the majority of the security, like front of house stuff, so all the seats and all that. Jelly has his own team. Usually people of that level have their own team. And then we have a few a group that specializes in that kind of stuff. To
Nice.
be closer to the stage and all that kind of stuff. So,
Nice.
yeah, but just ensuring all that's done, right? Like that job alone.
There's so many logistics.
Yeah, and your phone's like always got to be on. Like I got to make sure, it's always ringing.
Are you gonna actually get to enjoy the show, or are you gonna be
Oh, I
crazy?
will. I think it's set up. So
Like, are we gonna be able to have a beer while we're there?
Yeah, we can.
You
definitely
think
have
so?
a beer for sure. Yeah,
Like, I feel like you're gonna have stuff going on, but yeah.
you're near the front, so I mean, I can just hop out.
Yeah.
There you go. Cheers.
No doubt.
So, but yeah, it's something. It's worth being tired for
Oh
sure.
yeah,
And-
man, it's so
And
fun.
I think by the time this goes out, I'm surprising. So my old high school is at Notre Dame in Welland, and the grads have their graduation coming up. So there's a rehearsal tomorrow, and I'm gonna go surprise 2 tickets to the winner. We're gonna raffle. We're gonna
oh yeah.
contest. Yeah.
Oh, sick. That's
So,
nice.
hopefully they're fans. Otherwise, I'm sure otherwise they might be on StubHub or something. But yeah, I think it's important that they see this
that's nice
concert
that you're
too,
doing
because
that.
that's an age. When you're getting into the college and university and going out, and it's important for people to see and hear what he's went through, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's wild. That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah. I haven't watched yet, but he was also just recently on Howard Stern.
Yes.
Right. And like I watched his one with Rogan. I think that was like
Yeah.
5, I don't know how long ago, months ago. It was less than a year as
Yeah.
far as I remember. And that was a solid one. But yeah.
Yeah, so the Howard Stern thing, he was talking about not being able to travel to any country. And
Really?
we didn't know, right? So to hear shortly out, I think it was that, it was definitely the next week, I think, around that time that I heard. So it was great. And they're like, hey, it's been approved. And it's like, all right, now it's go time. And, working with partners with the tour on where they're staying, like, ensuring everyone has a room for all the acts, not just the main act. So, I mean, I look at that too, like all the businesses are making money. Right?
Totally.
The travel company, the airline, the taxis, the, limos. So it's nice to be able to give back with something different here in the region.
Bro, it's amazing.
So-
It's been, I don't watch a lot of TV news, but I've seen just like online that a lot of different platforms have like been talking about it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's not a small thing that's happening.
No, it's not. People are sending me the articles from iHeartRadio and
Yeah.
Billboard magazine and all that kind of stuff, and to show that St. Catharines was the first, and as first here into Canada, it's great for everyone involved,
Yeah, bro.
and as someone as a buyer and a promoter and someone who wears a bunch of hats. When it sold out and it like very shortly, I was very relieved because sometimes it's there's a lot of money going out for expenses and
I can't even imagine.
costs and fees and things like that with any artist. And
Yeah.
it's just happy. There's still going to be things that you have to be careful for, and you got to make sure you don't go too crazy on spending on
Totally.
certain things. But it's we're great to be able to do that and have a nice check for them at the end of the day.
Here's a question that I haven't even asked you before.
Uh-oh.
What do you think the odds are that I'll get to meet him?
Well, you're sitting pretty close. You never know. Have you been
Nice
practicing your
diplomatic-
singing, your songs?
Nice
or what?
diplomatic answer.
So maybe
He'll be right there.
a
I
virtual
know.
high five. or-
Yeah, maybe that would be pretty good. The other day, Michael Bublé was at OLG. And
Oh, yeah,
my
nice.
brother and sister-in-law, they got right up, and I guess he gave my sister-in-law a little twirl around
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff.
nice. That's awesome.
I think that her and my brother are now done, and she's now with Bublé.
So they got an extra ticket for Jelly Roll. There you go. So anyone listening, there you go.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
But yeah, I mean that's a great venue too. That the casino runs there. And
It's
at the
not as
Hilton.
big, right?
It's
OLG?
5,000 people.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
I
It
think
is
they're-
nice.
They're definitely designed for concerts, right? I mean, Meridian Center is great, and it's kind of more of a multi-use thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's up to par, and it really depends on the production teams that you're working with, depending on who the artists are, and and that, right? So
I've been to a couple things there, and it's good. The last thing we went to was actually a comedy. Anthony Rodeo, I think.
where
but-
at the Meridian?
OLG.
Oh,
OLG.
yeah,
and
yeah.
like the venue's good. I like the venue there.
For sure. And another thing too with booking stuff, there's usually different radius clauses too, right? So if Toronto's getting a show or Hamilton, and you want to get that person, it's very, very hard.
Yeah, eh?
If not, the benefit of Niagara is there's only 5, like the venues are small, right? You're not dealing with a Scotiabank in Toronto or a KeyBank or whatever, but it also affects that stuff, right? So when you're doing these bigger ones, you got to make sure that you're safe, as well as, you want to make sure the venues, they can make some money too.
Yeah, totally.
Right? So it's timing and relationships and tour. You got to look at the tours and that. So I just think, with what they did with the casino and the new theater, I think that, there's some heavy names. Like I think Keith Urban was just here the other day. And that's great. I think it's, I'm sure it's helping out the hotel level at that side, and I'm sure the casino's getting some gamblers.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And that
rolling the dice around.
Yeah, just or just think outside the box, and I'm happy to try to do more of this, right?
Yeah, bro. Like I it's pretty sweet to see, even because I don't remember how long we've known each other, a couple years maybe.
Right. Yeah.
And like first event I went to was a fun one, but it was at St. Catharines, the bowling. That was a fun event and stuff. But it's fun to even see the progress that you've been going through in the time.
For sure. And I think too, with stuff like that, you also want to make sure you have the right partners, right? Like if you're going to be spending a lot of money and taking the risk, you want to make sure that the cities and the regions are going to help support that, right? So when I moved back, came here, I've always had these ideas of doing bigger things, right? But I also need, you also want to make an income and do some cool, fun stuff. But I think over the years, it's growing and growing and growing, and there's been, where that event was, or they've done a lot of things with me and have been great. And
that was fun.
As it grows, let's just keep it going, right? It doesn't need to be the bowling; it could be a concert, and people are staying there after, right?
Totally.
So I think my goal eventually would be to do one every quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's pretty sweet.
And link it to different things, or Christmas, or different holidays, and I
think that's a really good, feasible yet busy goal.
For sure. And I think with the right structures and team in place.
Yeah, totally.
This is fairly new to Niagara, right? So I think partnering with different organizations within the region and having the cities in the region involved, I think that's you have to get that.
Yeah.
If you don't get that,
if you don't get the support,
right? Like there's festivals in London and Toronto and all. There's other places you could do it, right? So as long as I know that they're doing that born and raised thing again with Dallas Green, like that.
What's that?
That's a concert in Montebello Park, and it's actually the same weekend, but we're on Monday. It's held in Montebello Park there, and it's like City in Color, Alexis on Fire.
Oh yeah. Kev's going to that. He's pretty
I
stoked
went to it
about
last year. It was amazing. Right?
Yeah.
So if you're a fan of
Alexis on Fire, they're local, aren't they?
Yeah, they're local, St. Catharines.
Yeah.
So, and you'd have to go check it out on their website or whatever. I know there's some other bands that are being a part of it, but that's something that could be running every year, right? And it's the people involved. Just keep growing.
Bro, we're going to throw an event in Wainfleet. It'll be fun.
Let's do it.
I know. We'll have to talk some more because that would be pretty sick. We'll figure out something.
Yeah, I think, it's not so much the field and the spaces. It's what are people doing? Are they staying over? Are we creating one of those kind of events? Or are we structuring, transportation? And depending on how big you want to make it.
Yeah.
It's,
we'll
we got a lot of acres out here, so we can...
One of my guests to Jelly Roll is Brian Grant, mayor, so I'll just throw it at him just to see if he's got any ideas or whatever to see, because that we could definitely figure out something.
There's a close airport here, so
right around right there.
The famous people can get out and go right away.
They can be in and out.
And, get the stage, get the sound check, and go from there. So.
Yeah, they could show up 5 minutes before their set and be fine right from the airport there.
Yeah. That's, and I think people, there's something about outdoor shows and festivals that people like too, right?
Oh, they're so fun, yeah.
So, I remember going to one in Sarnia, I think it was Bayfest, at like Little Sarnia that had like 30,000 people. And
really?
It had Kiss, it had Toby Keith,
oh, that's
McGraw,
awesome.
Tim McGraw, and it was packed.
See, like I'm trying to think about that, like the gamble that goes into these things, because I'm guessing when you line up an artist, there's different ways to negotiate it, but you got to pay them regardless of.
Pay that for sure. Yeah.
So there's gambles involved in this.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so that's definitely interesting.
For sure, and depending on how big they are, they're not hopping on a WestJet flight, right? They're flying private, and
These things cost money.
They cost money, and they want to be able to be, there's a reason they're flying private, to stay away, because some of them have huge fans, and it's just like get in and out. Like they don't have time to. I mean, a lot of them are good and sign stuff on autographs, but
still,
that's one thing. I'm hoping to want to be super successful, down the road, and I'm hoping to be there. But when you compare that to being famous, a lot of people think it's the best thing to be, the Justin Bieber or the Taylor Swift. But like,
it comes with challenges.
You can't do anything. And people are taking pictures of you all the time. You really can't even go grocery shopping or anything like that.
It's tough.
And I know when, celebrities may give you the cold shoulder sometimes, but they might have just been hounded by 150 people.
I know. And
right? And everyone's like all on social media, like
giving them a bad rep. I know.
Right.
See, like I am lucky being local, having some attention. When people recognize me, I love it because it means what I'm doing is working. Yeah. But with them, when you can't go anywhere, I can't imagine I can see how it could get exhausting. Don't experience that, but I could see.
Yeah.
Imagine trying I even know like people that are like doctors, like they sometimes are like, oh, I have to go to the grocery store.
Right.
And they're
seeing all the people that they
and they're like, oh, my knee hurts and this, that. And like I was just trying to buy a quart of milk and get home to watch like Wheel of Fortune before I fall asleep on the couch.
Well, that's another thing too, that people that put events, I think sometimes people don't understand what things cost too, because a lot of people, not so much on this one, but there have been other ones where people will be like, oh, like hook me up with free tickets. And it's like, I always look at, when was the last time you talked to me, right? And, I don't mind helping out, or if I can, in some capacity.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're pretty much asking someone for $200.
Yeah, I know, totally.
Right, and there's some people that deserve it, and or you want to be able to help out and give back, and even the 2 tickets we're donating to Notre Dame, like that's something that I think is the giving it away is more of an outreach than making an extra $200 or whatever. But I think it's more important to do that. Yeah,
totally.
Little things like that change,
has an impact.
For sure.
Yeah.
So
I like it, bro. It's exciting.
It's just I'm still half asleep from the other night, so
I can imagine.
But I think we'll keep working on the Wainfleet one. I've always wanted to do something by the beach too. So
on the beach or close to the beach?
On the beach would be nice. I mean, just do more of a summer thing. I mean, it doesn't have to be a crazy thing.
I don't know what the regulations are around that, but that would be fun to do a beach thing.
I was.
We have the best beach in all of Niagara region here in Wainfleet, Long Beach.
Yeah, Long Beach. Yeah.
I don't know what, like I said, I don't know regulations, but the beach is sick.
For sure, and I think I went to one. There was an event in Las Vegas years ago, and it was called I think it was for a corporate client at Mandalay Bay, and it was called Bring Back the Summer. And it had like music from like the 50s with cars and how people dressed and they did the whole generations.
That's 60, fun.
70, 80, 90, 2000.
On the beach?
No, it was at Mandalay Bay.
Oh, Mandalay Bay, sorry.
Resort there, with the pool and all that.
Yeah.
And it was just like, there was like 385 acts or something crazy like that. And it was just for a corporate client, but it was cool. I'll have to show you that. I think I still have it on the computer. But something like that, right? Like just think outside the box and be creative. And I think too here, I mean, sure, you want to bring in the big guns and that, but I even look at helping support local. I mean,
totally.
I had some involvement with the Music Awards the last 2 years, and there's some good talent here.
Yeah.
And it would be good to
DJ Shub.
Yes,
one of my buddies. I love his stuff. Yeah.
So I mean, if you can give an opportunity for that, maybe not something crazy like this concert, but these festivals and things like that.
Yeah, totally. Not everything,
right?
Not everything has to be like top level.
For sure.
Yeah, like there's, like you said, local.
And solid. I think that's why usually events take they take about a year, like for those festivals, because you want to be able to market not only the event but the artist and make sure the artist has a little bit of a reach. And that's why I think it's important in even the work I do, same as you, that content is king. And,
totally.
You know, I think people that aren't creating those so much content, like, you know, in music, like there should be some like a post every week, like, hey, I'm writing this song, or
totally,
you know, or I'm
so
playing
much
at this little brewery here, right? And because that's with what's going on with social media, there's so much talent out there. Not that there ever wasn't, but it's just the access to talent is, and everyone, it's a business where, you know, it can be pretty cutthroat, right?
I can only imagine.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, bars are going to look at, well, I can get that person for this much, or I can get this for this person, right? Yeah. So they want to be able to make sure that, you know, if you're an artist that's creating content, you're gonna, regardless of how good or bad, I mean, you got to be half decent, but like you're gonna get more of the gigs than anyone.
If you have an audience,
that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, if you have an audience, that's gonna get you, and for sure.
I look at it too that, like, you know, just because they don't get the like button or anything like that, people are watching.
Oh yeah,
and, you know, and whether they're people that just happen to see you or your haters or anything like that, like there's watching. You can see it in the views. You can see it. Like it's not just.
Do you know Andy over at Revive the Roast?
Yeah.
I give him a lot of props for how he's shaking bacon out there too.
For sure, yeah. He's always in some sort of venture with his music or even without his music, right?
Yeah.
And
I give him props.
He's kind of jumped on the country thing there for a little bit, and I've heard some of his stuff. And hey,
he puts out some good music.
Yeah. He was trying to get out on stage there. I just saw online that he was. Trying to hopefully sing a song with Jelly and all that. I don't know if you saw that. But
no.
Hey, you never know. But, you know.
How would that even work?
Who knows? I mean, a lot of artists call up people and stuff too. But I don't know for this one. It's just a little time sensitive and whatnot.
That would be so sick for him. Smart. If he could pull that off, I would love that. But
I think even at the end of the day, it's good marketing.
Yeah.
Right? Whether he gets on or not, hey, man, like it's creating conversation. And
for sure.
People that maybe don't know who Andy is are now like, oh, who is this guy? I'm going to go listen to his stuff. It's important that he did that.
He's done some cool stuff too. Did you know that they play one of the songs at the Leafs?
Oh, the Leafs, yeah.
And he's awesome. Been on a video game and stuff. Like, they got the beer. Like, he's shake and bake. I give Andy props. Like,
and I think too, like, there's a lot of opportunity within music that you don't have to be in front of the stage, right? Like, songwriting and jingles and things like that are huge money makers.
Interesting.
We have a guy from, we gave him a Global Achievement Award with the Niagara Music Awards. Mm-hmm. His name's Stefan Locchio. Mm-hmm. And he wrote A New Day for Celine Dion. And,
no way.
Yeah, and then did Wrecking Ball for Miley Cyrus. Earned it for The Weeknd. Avril Lavigne.
He wrote those songs?
Yeah, and like produced it because he
produced it.
Yeah, so
no way. And this guy's local?
He's from the area, but he's living in LA now.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess.
You got it, right? You got it when you're working with those types of people.
Yeah.
You know, all the Beyonce, all those people, everyone's in LA, right? Or everyone's in Nashville or something like that. But I would say he's a newer David Foster type thing, right? Or Gordon Lightfoot. But yeah, he's a crazy pianist and he's in the right room with the right people. All it takes is that one. And I know, having listened to his story and met with him, you know, it took a little while. It wasn't a smooth ride, right?
Yeah.
So there was bands he helped create or songs he helped that didn't. He actually did the Blue Jays theme song,
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
That one and the Hockey Night in Canada one. So
Hockey Night in Canada?
Yeah.
No way.
So, I mean, he may be, and he's also an artist himself, right? But, you know, there's good money to be made and good relationships. And it's like, you know, that's how you kind of get in the door, right? So, same with real estate. I mean, I'm sure if you get the right listing and certain people are watching, it's like, oh, that guy is the one who sold that house or that complex or whatever. Like, you get, you know, taken to a little bit more serious than.
Now that you're talking about the business side of it, you sparked a little bit with me that I'm curious if you know or not too, how it works. Because the music industry, I'm sure, has changed shape quite a bit, where record sales used to be big, where now, like, record sales, I can't imagine, are a big thing with streaming
and
services.
Spotify doesn't really pay
Yeah.
anymore. So
Yeah, like that's because artists, when they make music off their songs, like, is it the streaming services the big spots for them to get money? I don't even know.
it's actually advertising and a bit like YouTube and all those things. They
YouTube's
do
good.
get paid out,
Yeah.
but whether or not it's the right amount. Like I'm not too familiar
Yeah,
with
yeah.
a lot of that stuff, but I know that there's different agencies like marketing agencies and public relation agencies that they leverage a famous person might write a jingle or a song or
Right.
anything like that, and
Right.
then they use the artists and their following to promote
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
totally.
new shoes or whatever, right?
Totally.
And that's where there's big money, right? And obviously a lot of private stuff. There's a lot of
Yeah.
artists that are fortunate enough to do some big private events and things like that. So I don't know. Did you see the one? Was it Rihanna that did the private wedding for? Was it the Prime Minister of India or something? The son was getting married.
Probably paid her a couple bucks.
I think it was like $6 million. Something like that. It was all online, but whether or not that's true is one thing. But it definitely was not,
Yeah, it costs some money.
$1,000. I can tell you that much. So, but yeah, it's just
That's
leveraging,
interesting.
and that's why you see a lot of these brands will dump in a ton of money to have the A-listers,
You've been to events like that, private events where
For sure.
people, that's
Yeah.
pretty wild. Yeah.
and or you have the BMW cars or the Bugattis and all that kind of stuff, and they have Tom Cruise or
Yeah.
Taylor Swift or whoever that may be. They make some pretty good money with that. With the branding.
Interesting.
So,
Interesting.
or they invest in it too, right? So,
Yeah, interesting. Before I get to the fun questions unrelated to all this, is there anything else you want to touch on before we covered a lot of good stuff there?
I think from my perspective, I'm hoping to do more of this, and
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
I don't think it necessarily has to be done in one spot. So I think we can do small and big things, but I'm hoping after this, people can reach out and let's see how we can make something happen, right?
Yeah, and you're open for business, like different venues, different
For
businesses.
sure, it doesn't have to be the big crazy ones like this, right? I think there's different things that can be done with different smaller events that are already happening.
I think that if we're fortunate enough for the people still listening here that got this far and have Niagara connections, or you're a venue or a business or whatever, and you're thinking about some type of event, like definitely hit you up
For sure, open.
have a conversation to see, because you've been having events. This is obviously a big one. There's going to be more. There's opportunity, I'm sure, for sponsorships, for events, different business partnerships. Like you said, with these types of things, it sparks some economic activity. So there's, it's great. I love that there's a charity involved.
Mm-hmm.
I love that there's support. But I like I'm an entrepreneur, so I love if there's a way for people to make money in a good, wholesome fashion. I think it's great. So
I think a lot of the events are almost that branding opportunity, right? Because local businesses, like if they're restaurants or whatever, like they're going to be full when there's a big event, right?
Yeah.
Or attraction or hotels, like it's going to be busy.
Yeah.
And I mean, other than busy nights they already have, it's a total upsell and bonus for them, right? So
I wonder if Oddbird's going to be open that day, because I think they might be closed on Mondays.
you might have to make a call. I have to say they might open. So. I think, Well, I mean, the venue for, I believe it's around 6,000 people will be there. So
Right. Yeah.
let's get those venues open around it, and let's get them some good food and drinks or whatever else needs to be open, and go from there.
I like it. Okay, some fun questions.
Here we go.
Just some fun ones. Okay, let's hope that you're never here. I don't think, even though being in the promoting business, you might deal with some fun things, but death row, if you were ever on death row, let's hope you never go there. What would your final meal be? We've shared a few meals. We like to eat.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, my go-tos are definitely pizza.
Yeah?
Yeah. Steak is nice.
Nice. What?
The Wagyu steak is very nice.
Nice. I've never actually had a Wagyu steak.
Might have to go try it out.
Yeah, I like that. If you got pizza and wings, where from? What toppings? What flavor wings?
Well, for takeout, I mean, it depends on where I am, right?
I'm
I'm a big supporter. Obviously, Tailgates does some pretty awesome stuff.
Tailgates is great.
Volcanoes is great too for the takeout side of things.
Okay, so if you're on death row in Welland, then we'll leave it there. I don't know.
Well,
Actually, you know, a fact that I'm going to try and dust off my brain here. I think the last time there was capital punishment in maybe Canada.
right, I know this.
Did you tell me this or somebody else?
It was like the last 1 or 2 spots was in Welland at the courthouse.
And Dunville. I don't know. There was in Welland. Okay, I guess there's been
We might
some.
have to get the
Okay,
fact
let's
checker
not-
out.
let's-
Fact checker.
yeah.
But
We'll
yeah, no,
check
I
it.
think I think Welland was either
Really?
the last one or the second
I got to look
one.
into
Yeah.
it. I thought Haldeman, maybe Welland. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so you would get a tailgates pizza with what on it?
Definitely,
Shout out Ryan Nava.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Nava. Definitely like the pepperoni cheese. I mean, I like basic too, but I like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be that person, anything but pineapple.
Oh, wow. Hey.
So pineapple, I don't know. I mean, I like pineapple.
How
but
about
it's-
banana then?
Banana?
No, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I've had banana on pizza before, but
Yeah.
okay. And then wings, what flavor would you go?
I like the honey hot is good or medium.
Yeah, we had those the other day.
Yeah,
That's
that was
great.
good. Yeah.
Celery, carrots,
Blue cheese.
blue
Yeah.
cheese.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said a steak, a Wagyu cooked how?
Medium rare.
Let's go.
So there's a good place out on Highway 6 called Big Pete's at Mont Hill that has the best spot.
Yeah?
It's quite the steakhouse. Yeah. It's
Yeah, I haven't tried that. We'll go.
yeah, we'll have to go.
Yeah. What about to drink?
Depends. I mean, if it's
With
for a
this
night
last
out.
this last death row meal.
Oh, death row. I don't know. Just a Ryan Ginger maybe.
Not no V. Not gonna
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Ryan Ginger. Okay. A dessert thrown in there. I get right into the food. I
Yeah,
love it.
okay. Depends on where the dessert. Oh, cheesecake I just had actually. It was awesome.
Cherry cheese or plain?
Cherry.
Let's go. Okay, that was enough food. I'm getting hungry.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of answered the question already. What do you like on your pizza? So you got that. This is interesting. It ties in a little bit of this podcast. Favorite kind or era of music?
Definitely. Honestly, country's been growing on me a
Yeah?
bit. Yeah. I mean, I like all sorts. I'm not too big on the crazy shouting music.
Right. Like heavy metal?
Yeah, like crazy.
Gotcha.
Music. I mean, I'm not saying they're not talented. It's
Yeah.
just I'm not.
Not your style.
Really,
yeah,
yeah.
it's fine.
Sometimes though, when you need to wake up and you're, on the highway on a road trip, I mean, sometimes
Crank it.
or yeah, you gotta do it. But yeah, I'm more, I'm more of a top 40 person, and I mean, I like some indie stuff too. And that was something that I see here actually with the music awards and whatnot. There, you get to hear all these different styles.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, and I look at it from, can I do an event with it? Does it
Yeah.
make money? Is this artist good enough to, what I
For
mean?
sure. For
And-
sure.
and
Yeah,
a
you
lot
look at
of-
music a little different.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So it's, if I'm on the road or anything like that, I'd like to make sure the tunes are playing. Or the podcast, the Right Choice podcast.
I like it. My favorite era is definitely old school hip hop. I love that stuff.
Nice.
90s, 2000s.
Did you go to the Ice Cube concert?
No, I was away. I was
I
that
heard
was
it was
like
good. Could have probably been busier. Someone said.
I was actually
Someone said it was really good. So.
I was actually at a DJ Shub concert
yeah, you
with
forgot.
Charlie Tuna out in Calgary.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
And like if it wasn't for that, I would have came back for that to see
sure.
Ice Cube. I love Ice Cube. Yeah.
I think there's some other ones that are.
Do you know who put that together?
No.
No, because like that's pretty sick. I'm an Ice Cube fan.
I know Cypress Hill is looking at trying to do some more stuff. I think they were in Quebec in June.
Yeah.
I was trying to make
Yeah,
that
if
one. See
you
what this came up.
if you ever want to put on an old school hip hop one, I would probably like do
It'd be crazy to have like Snoop Dogg. like,
Snoop, Wu Tang. I don't know. I went to
Wu-Tang
Wu
would be
Tang
another
at Matty Fest years ago. That was pretty wild. I didn't realize how big the band was. I didn't even.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
been a big fan for a long time.
you think
but
they'd sell 5,000 seats?
easy,
Yeah.
easy.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll
Never
talk more
know.
about that. Yeah. This one's a little bit deeper than that, but meaning of life. This is a good one.
Ooh, all right. Here we go. I mean, I think life gives you opportunity. I mean, you're going to go through speed bumps and you're going to go through a lot of good times and bad times. I think it's just key to work hard and be good to others. And, you're going to meet people that you don't like and they don't like you or they're jealous and things like that. And I think what I've learned over this bunch of years is focus on yourself and the close people around you, that people that you can work with and all that, and just don't listen to the keyboard warriors or, I've never had anything kind of like that, but it comes to the point, like I think it'd be different if I was a Jelly Roll or Justin Bieber or something. I mean, people are always talking, but, things aren't going to work out. There's some events I've lost my shit on. Too, right?
No doubt.
It's not, sometimes it's not the artist, sometimes it is the artist. But just to keep focus and good things will happen. Like, I mean, I think there's a synergy in life where if you're always doing good things, eventually something substantial, I think, will go in that direction.
Totally.
If you're going the other way where you're, a criminal, you're getting drunk or high all the time, and you're going to have some health issues.
Totally.
Right? So
totally.
I think that, just stay focused, and it's not the end of the world if something doesn't happen. I mean, I've been through enough in my life that, things are kind of messed up, and, you want to be able to move ahead. And it's been challenging for certain things,
Yeah.
And to find a niche thing like this with, down the road to be super successful, turning NAG. I mean, my goal would be to turn in something, like I said, every quarter. Right?
Bro, it'd be so
Whether
amazing.
It be at the Meridian Center or OLG Stage or outside.
Yeah.
That could be quite substantial if you do it right. So,
Totally.
I was never big on school. For me was more of the social aspect of it.
Same.
High school and what. So.
Same. School's great for hanging out.
For sure. I mean, those are that's what you're marketing down the road to, right? So, but yeah, I mean, it's nice to do stuff like that, and life can get pretty crazy sometimes. So just stay focused.
True that.
And yeah, it's not the end of the world.
True that. Here's one that's not so deep, but if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Ooh, I don't know. I think I want to. I don't know. I'm more of a. I'd like to somewhere destination wise. I think somewhere crazy. Costa Rica, I think, would be a nice one to go on to, that I've been trying to, see if I can make work. Obviously, there was a few things planned, but COVID did a little bit of a number on the entertainment industry and events.
Yeah, no doubt.
We had to hold off on that. But
Costa Rica's a good one. I haven't been there before, but I'd go down there. If you put an event on down there, that would be a fun one to go down. Well, actually,
it's funny too, because a good friend of mine started doing major events in Toronto, like, the 40,000, 80,000.
Wow.
People. I mean, Toronto can sustain that because there's millions of people there. But he also does all the other ones, right? Like, I think it was Barbados, Bahamas.
Yeah.
And there's cool, and it's like a destination wedding kind of vibe, right? Like, you have all thousands of people flying from Toronto or wherever, all over the world, to go to that concert, right? So
that's pretty cool.
That would be kind of cool to work on something like that. And that was someone who I saw him do it, and I paid attention, and it's like, as you learn it over the years, it's just like, oh, that could be done, right? Like, so.
At some point, I think I might want to put together a trip for people to go to Italy to do some pizza out there too. That's something I'd like to do. Yeah, but that's just a little fun. Side thing. Best piece of advice you can give anyone.
Well, kind of the same thing as the meaning of life, right? So
it's intertwined.
Work hard, and make sure there's a little bit of fun in it, actually, because.
That's a good point.
For me, there's long nights and stuff, but I love doing this. I love meeting people. For me, it can be long hours.
That's a good trip.
But
have some fun in there.
Have some fun, because if you don't take your breaks, you're gonna, at the end of the day, too, no one really cares. Like, you want to do it for you, right? Don't worry about what other people think, because they're not going to be there.
That's
right?
very good.
So
when people and. It's funny because I just had that conversation with somebody today, how the younger generation is having from what they were telling me, a hard time with being so concerned of what other people think of them with social media and everything, and like chasing the likes, the views, and all that stuff. Not that that's not things that I do, but it's for content, but not personally.
Right.
And I think about that, but that's a very good point, not being worried about what people actually think of you, and just
I mean, if you're doing the right things, there's going to be a lot of good people that are on your side.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
And those are the comments and the likes and the following that you need to be a part of.
A couple more.
All right.
Who played a big role in who you are today?
I mean, my family has been amazingly supportive through this.
Nice.
Immediate family and like my uncle and a few other people.
Nice.
There's been a few friends as well. I think there's been a few key people that you would think, oh, you just met at a trade show or something like that. There was a bunch actually in Vegas that, you know, although we're not the closest friends and whatnot, they've taught me a lot. I've seen a lot.
Yeah, that's great.
You know, has been great. And there's been a bunch of people here in Niagara as well. So
I like it. Here's a fun one too that goes in line with this stuff. There's 3 more. What do you want to be remembered for?
Just
throwing the craziest freaking party in Niagara ever.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Well,
years ago, and this is when I was in high school. I was unfortunately in a major accident, and that took me. It was hard to get through all that with school and whatnot. But when the dust settled, I wanted to have like a thank you, like I want to have a party, right? We used to live out in Cooks Mills. I had 3 acres, bonfire pool, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And this is the pre-social media. No, it was when like MRC. I don't know if you remember that.
The chat.
Started. Yeah, and Messenger and all that kind of stuff.
ICQ days.
And I wanted to have a get together, thinking like 50 people, and there was like 400 people that showed up. Yeah, and it was crazy because people wrote my directions at the cafeteria at school, and the title at MRC was my address, like Dave Grant's.
No way.
And on Pearson Road and whatever. And yeah, I mean, it was great. I didn't realize.
Cops show up?
Nope.
No cops?
No cops, no.
Oh, you had 400 teens at a party?
Well, I mean, it wasn't, I don't know exactly the number, but it was a lot of, there was
hundreds
there was $94 in empties. So do the math, right? And that's if people are just indulging in Bud Lights or something, or Coors Light or something.
Yeah, obese.
Obese, yeah. Molson, still Molson, so it's okay. Shout out to Molson.
I love it. I changed this question actually to make it a little bit more reasonable, but what would you do if you won $50 million?
I'd probably do the same thing. Like, I think you'd have to...
I like that answer.
I probably wouldn't claim it right away. Like, if you're talking like a lottery win of that statue.
Yeah.
I would probably set everything up structurally right away. I'd probably take a nice trip for a couple weeks or find a cottage or a cabin out on a mountain, like in Vancouver or something like that.
Right.
Take a little Airbnb for a month, figure my shit out. And then I would probably do this because I look at it as you can only travel so much. You know
totally.
What I mean? It gets boring after a while. So,
totally.
And depending on when that happens, if there's a family involved or anything like that, like...
Bro, I love that. And I think it ties back to, like you said, do what you're doing and have some fun. Because when you're having fun, we would all like to have some more money. But even if you have that life-changing money, what do you do at some point?
I mean, I was looking at it as I was looking at a totally different career path when I was growing up from this, right? And
what were you looking at?
I was looking at getting into like being a police officer and whatnot.
Oh, yeah?
So a little bit of a change. And then...
At one point, I considered it too myself.
Yeah, I mean, I give those guys credit and girls now. I mean, it's way crazier than it was when I was looking at it.
Way crazier.
But I mean, sure, they make a good salary, but they put up with a lot of crazy stuff. And then when I saw this opportunity with traveling before, and eventually working for myself, you can make as much money as the amount of work you want to put in. So
totally,
I forget who it was that said it wasn't. Don't follow your dreams, follow your effort, right?
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Cool because dreams can be unrealistic.
Yeah, totally. Right?
So,
I don't even know if I've heard that one. I like that.
Yeah, I heard that. I think it was Mark Cuban or something like that. So, but I think too. There's in my industry, and I'm sure in your industry because you meet a lot of people as well, that you make good money at whatever other job, right? Mm-hmm. And depending on the industry, here's some free tickets, or here's this. I'll help you out. I'll get you a deal here. You know what I mean? And it's a great opportunity, and that's what makes it fun because you're going to see friends. You know what I mean? You're going to a city or town that you may have never gone to see before, and you're getting treated like a king.
Yeah, so, I like it. Last question.
All righty.
Last fun one. Favorite movie?
I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of movies lately.
I know. For me, I have it on there, and I'm like, what would I say to that question? Like,
I mean, I used to like maybe just because of our ages and whatnot, but like, I used to like, the Will Ferrell, Vince Vaughn, like old school and stuff. Even like the Jim Carrey, The Mask, like Dumb and Dumber. Those
Dumb and Dumber is a classic.
That generation now. For me, I'm not. I mean, there's a lot of high tech sci-fi kind of movies that are out. That's not really my cup of tea. I mean, they're great stuff, but
yeah,
I like more of those kind of movies. So
I like it. I like it. Dave, this was sick.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the opportunity and the interest, and also wanting to attend the concert.
Of course.
We'll see if
if people want to reach out. Wait, sorry to interrupt. What were you going to say?
No, I just you never know. Maybe you'll get on stage. Doubtful, but
hopefully Andy does, because that would be way better for him.
Maybe you can fix it on the computer where it looks like you're high five or something. Maybe I'll do that for you.
If I get in early enough, maybe I'll sneak in Meridian Center and I'll have a hologram of myself pointing down onto the stage.
There you go.
If anybody does want to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to do it if they want to talk about some future events or talk some business?
Yeah, I usually would be just through socials. So Instagram, I'm usually on the most.
Yeah. What's your Instagram?
It's Grand, GRAND __85. That's probably the best.
That's the best spot to hit. Yeah.
Because I'm always watching that kind of stuff there, right? And if it's someone, I think with Instagram, depending on who it is or what it is, you can check out what they do, right? So it's kind of killing two birds with one stone, or how I can see what they're probably going to be asking about. Given, is it a restaurant? Is it a prior event? Is it a city? Is it a brand or something like that? And what do they want? So, but yeah, that's the best way to do it. And I hope I see everyone out at the concert.
Oh, bro, gonna be so good. This is going out Friday, so that'll be 10 days before, and then it's game time.
Yeah, then we might have to do a post video after.
I like it to see how it all went. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah. Bro, this is so sick. What were you gonna say?
Oh, maybe I'll have some sleep after that, and I'll be well refreshed.
Thanks so much for coming out, bro.
Thanks for having me, and looking forward to doing this again.
Yeah, sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you.